Hello everybody and welcome to Commsave Educates. Today's podcast is all about the topic of budgeting made simple. My name is James Richards, I'm the Strategic Partnership Manager here at Commsave, and I'm going to talk you through lots of the different issues around how you actually put a budget together and how it can help you. So a budget is basically a plan for your money. It's about understanding what you've got coming in, your income, and what you've got going out, your outgoings or expenses. The main goal of budgeting isn't to restrict you or to stop you from spending. In fact, it's the opposite. It gives you control. A budget helps you make sure your money is going towards the things that really matter to you, whether that's paying bills on time, saving for a trip, building an emergency fund, or working towards long-term goals like buying a house or retiring comfortably. At its core, a budget is just about awareness and choice. When you know exactly how much you earn and how much you spend, you can make informed decisions. You might notice areas where you can cut back or see opportunities to improve. So what's one thing that you have to pay for each week no matter what? One of the key things we need to understand when we're looking at budgeting is the difference between needs and wants. This really underpins so much of what we're going to be talking about. The concept may sound basic, but it's the foundation of smart spending and good budgeting. So what's the difference? Well, needs are the things we must have to live and function. Essentials like food, housing, utilities, basic clothing and transportation. They're the things that keep us safe, healthy and able to go to work or to school. Wants, on the other hand, are the things that make life more enjoyable, but which we could technically live without. That might include eating out, new clothes when we already have enough, streaming subscriptions or the latest phone upgrade. Now, wants aren't bad. It's totally fine and actually healthy to spend money on things that make you happy or motivated. The key is balance. When you can clearly tell the difference between a need and a want, you can make better choices about where your money goes. Here's a quick example. Let's say you need shoes. A simple, durable pair that gets you through the week is a need, but if you want the newest designer trainers, that's a want. The difference is in the purpose. One is about necessity, the other is a preference. Understanding this difference helps when money is tight or when you're setting priorities. If your budget starts to feel stretched, focusing on needs first ensures that essentials are covered before spending on extras. In the end, recognising needs versus wants isn't about denying yourself fun, it's about being intentional. It helps you spend confidently, save wisely, and make sure your money supports both your responsibilities and your happiness. There are lots of ways to budget. Some people like spreadsheets, some people just like writing things down. But whichever way you prefer, the key steps are the same. Firstly, track your income. Know how much money you've actually got coming in. Then list your expenses, both fixed ones like rent and bills, and flexible ones like groceries or entertainment. Compare the two and make adjustments so that you're not spending more than you earn. Then we can set goals, because a budget works best when it's tied to something meaningful. In the end, budgeting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's a habit that grows over time and gives you a clearer picture of your finances, less stress and more freedom to reach your goals. A budget is just a plan for your money, like giving every pound a job. It helps you spot where your money is going and stops nasty surprises. And you don't have to be perfect, you just need to know your numbers. So where does your income come from? There are a number of different sources that you might be getting money from, whether that's through work, you've got salary or wages coming in, potentially some overtime, or whether you're getting benefits to help support your income. There are also other sources of income that you shouldn't overlook. So for example, if you've got money coming in from children, if they're making a contribution to your household budget, you should reflect that in there. And you might also have some interest from some savings that you've got. One key thing to think about that I briefly touched on is overtime. It can be dangerous to rely too heavily on an overtime figure in your budget because it might reflect income that you've had in the past that you're not necessarily going to be guaranteed to get in the future. So one way that you could do this is to take a look at your recent pay slips, perhaps 1 month, even 3 months, and take an average of what you've had over that time period. This helps you to avoid budgeting for something that you're not going to end up getting in, which can leave you stretched. Have you ever tracked your spending? What did you notice? Now that we've had a look at some of the key basics of budgeting and understanding the difference between needs and wants, it's time to look at another key element, tracking where your money actually goes. Tracking your spending simply means keeping an eye on where your money actually goes. It might sound small, but it makes a huge difference. You can't really manage what you don't measure, and most people are surprised when they see how much they spend without realising it. When you track your spending, you start to notice patterns. Maybe you see that takeout lunches add up faster than you thought, or that small online purchases here and there total more than expected. This awareness helps you make conscious choices rather than accidental ones. So why is it important? Because it gives you control and clarity. It helps you stay within your budget, spot problem areas early, and make sure your money is going towards your priorities and goals. It's also a great way to hold yourself accountable. If you're trying to save more or pay off debt, tracking helps you stay on course. Now, there's no single right way to do this. It's about finding what works for you. Here's a few of the more common methods you might look to use. Apps and online tools. There are lots of free apps that connect to your bank account and automatically categorise your spending. They make it easy to see where your money goes at a glance. Spreadsheets. If you like doing things manually, you can set up a simple spreadsheet to record your income and expenses. It's flexible and gives you full control. Notebook or journal. Some people prefer writing things down by hand. It can be as simple as jotting down what you spend each day. And then there's an idea about cash envelopes. This is an old school method, but it still works. You set aside cash for certain categories like groceries or entertainment, and when the envelope's empty, you know you've hit your limit. No matter which method you choose, the goal remains the same: to stay aware of your money. When you see where it's going, you can make adjustments and feel more confident about your financial decisions. In short, tracking your spending isn't about restriction, it's about awareness. It's a simple habit that leads to smarter choices, less stress, and a stronger sense of control over your financial life. Even if your income is low, knowing where your money goes gives you power. It's about you making choices for your money, not other people making those choices for you. Once you've added up all of your monthly income and taken away your outgoings, what's left? If you've got a positive figure, you've got more money coming in than going out, that's a surplus. If you've got a negative figure, you're spending more than you've got coming in, that's a deficit. Whichever situation applies to you, there are steps you can take. If you're in a surplus, that's a good position to start from, but there's always more that you can do. It's still worth reviewing your budget to see if there are other improvements that you can make. So for example, are you claiming any benefits that you're entitled to? Are there any spend areas you can cut back on, like unused subscriptions? Or maybe there are debts that you could pay off sooner using the surplus money that you have. If you're saving, could you add some more to the amount that you put into your savings account each month? If you're in deficit, so you've got more going out than coming in, you might be at risk of getting into financial difficulty. You might be using an overdraft or credit cards to get by. The most important thing here is not to panic. It's just time to build a plan to help you take back control. You might consider getting some professional advice if you're struggling to manage your borrowing. You might want to take another look at your outgoings and see where the areas are that you might be able to cut back. And again, are you claiming all the benefits you're entitled to? Here at Commsave, we have a free benefits checker on our website at commsave.co.uk. So enter your details into that and it will tell you if there's anything that you might be entitled to that you're not currently claiming. Here are some potential ways that you might look to cut your spending. Make sure you make a shopping list before you go to the supermarket. This reduces impulse buying. If you have debts, could you reduce your monthly outgoings by consolidating your balances? Be really wary about renewals of things like car insurance. It can pay to shop around because the renewal quote that you'll get is generally larger than you'll be able to get. You might consider switching suppliers for your utilities. And even just turning down your thermostat in your home by 1 degree can make savings over the course of a year. You might also want to consider spending using cash rather than your debit card. This can give you really good visibility over where your money's actually going, rather than simply paying for everything using plastic. It's also really important to check in with your budget from time to time, regardless of whether you've got a surplus or a deficit. Make sure to review and adjust your budget according to things that might have changed. So, have any costs increased or decreased? Has your entitlement to any benefits changed? And does your budget still match what you're actually spending? And are you on target with any plans to either reduce your debts or build up your savings? There's no hard and fast rule about how often you might do this, but I'd suggest that checking in every quarter with what you've previously said and any goals that you've set is well worthwhile, and certainly make sure you do it no less than annually. So what are some next steps that you can take? Well, we have a detailed article on the education section of our website called Keeping a Budget, which has lots of useful detail. You can also check out the money saving articles on our website. They contain tips on topics like saving on your supermarket shop and dealing with the cost of Christmas. You can also take a look at the Commsave Educates app. There are lots of really good articles on there about budgeting and related content. It's well worth having a look through there to help you on your budgeting journey. We wish you every success, regardless of whether you're starting from a surplus or deficit position. Remember, having a plan is the really critical thing here. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Commsave Educates. We hope that's been useful for you. We'd love it if you could like this video, leave us a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the bell to be notified about future podcasts. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.